What's up? Black men are creators, not slaves. I know the world wants to keep us creatively oppressed. The world, in a lot of ways, wants to keep people in general creatively oppressed. They want to keep us in a state where we're just workers. We don't think, we don't do anything but work. And the people who are over you are the creators, the decision makers, the people who are really designing everything. And the huge milestone, not milestone, the huge thing black men have to get over is settling for just being a worker who doesn't think, and you're working for the man who's creating. And oftentimes in this society, the black man is a worker. He's not a creator. He's not an innovator. He's not saying that we don't have that. I'm not trying to put us down, but I'm saying you have to look at the current state of where black men are, and it's true when I say that a lot of us, we settle with the mentality of just, of really just being a slave mentally. And I'm not just saying this in a entrepreneurial way of, working for somebody. I'm just saying overall, embody being a creator. A man should embody being a creator. A black man, most of all, should embody being a creator, not a slave. Because in society throughout human history, they always wanted the black man to they wanted to oppress his creative mind and his creative power, right? And when you look at history, anytime a black man created something or made something, it was whitewashed or it was, scrubbed out of history because they just hate us that much. They really just hate us that much. But I'm not focusing on the haters. I'm focusing on building us up, making sure we're strong and defending ourselves. But I think it's so many brilliant and capable and competent black men out there, and we settle for the slave mentality of being a slave to pleasure, being a slave to a person who doesn't care about you, being a slave in general. A man shouldn't think of himself as a slave. A man shouldn't act like a slave, and a man shouldn't be in the mentality where he is a slave. Just in every aspect, a man should not be a slave. And a lot of us are tricked thinking that, okay, we're not in a context of where we were really in slavery, but a lot of us are still enslaved by our minds and enslaved by how the society is set up and where it positioned us, and we're at where society wants us to be. And I think the black man is the most powerful man because he is the original man, and he's been oppressed the most in terms of his creativeness. Nobody wants to let the black man be the creator. They rather let the black man be the slave. They want the black man to to feel like a slave. They don't want the black man to be strong and confident in himself, right? Because when you're strong and confident in yourself, you can create from within yourself. You don't have to copy anybody. You don't have to, take away from anybody. But when you look throughout history, they take everything from black man. They take his dignity, his humanity, his integrity. They take all of that, they steal it, they whitewash it, or they just scrub it out and erase it out of history, right? So I just want all black men to really step up and understand that no, they set the pace. They set the tone. They're the creators in society. They're the creators of mankind. Not I'm not saying a black man is God. Don't take that. Don't take it like that. But what I'm saying is a black man is in the image of God, and a black man is not just a laborer. A black man is not just a worker. A black man is way more than that. I see myself as way more than that. I've found it hard to have relationships with other black men as far as, being friends with them and just connecting and having a good conversation because they don't even have a mindset of creating anything, right? They have a mindset of they just settle with being a worker. They settle with not using their mind. That's what I truly have a problem with. And I don't look up to any man who don't use their mind. I don't look up to any man who don't look up to their mind. I don't care if you're in my family. And a lot of men, they could come to you and, they may be older than you, but if they still got that worker mentality, and I'm not just talking about in a context of they got a job or anything, because I don't even think that entirely uh makes a man not a creator, right? Because we have to look at how stuff is set up, and that's another conversation I can get into. But I want to look at how much a man is willing to create and make from within himself more than anything. And you don't gauge that by how much money he has in his pocket. You don't gauge that by superficial metrics. You really gauge that by his mentality, how he talks, how he carries himself, and how he sees himself. Right? That's how I look at it. Because it's so many men, they don't see much of themselves. They just want to survive, and that's it. They don't want to create anything. And I think the men in society who are creators, they have value, and they sell their value, right? And this is just something we have to get out of the mindset of a black man. The more we step into the mindset of being a creator as a black man, the more we're gonna see black men who are millionaires. The more we're gonna see black men who are billionaires. The more we're gonna see black men, uh, really running society and thriving in society, right? So that's the important thing, because when we adopt not using our mind, when we just take on the mentality, oh, I'm not gonna think about anything. Guess what? That white man gonna be thinking for you. He gonna be doing everything for you. That Arab man gonna be doing everything for you, right? And we done been living in that for too long. It's time for us to step up, for us to create something, for us to be creators, over ourselves and over our communities. Because a lot of the times, the people that's creating for us in the black community is a white man. It's a Arab man, right? Those are the creators of the black community nowadays, and I think that's for us to keep oppressing ourselves, for us to keep self-destructing. We have, another race setting the tone and creating things for us and putting us in the environment they want us to be in, to be weak. But it's only when we come together, we step up and we say, you know what, I'm gonna use my mind today. And I'm not just talking about in an academic of going to college. I'm talking about in every aspect, right? And that's something I had to understand, that the more I turn off my brain and I don't use it, the more I become a slave, and the more another man is gonna be making decisions, and the more I'll be a slave master to another man, right? So that's pretty much all I got to say, man. He's out.